All right, so this is RF5, the x and the y intercepts. So what is the x-intercept? The x-intercept is when the line touches the x-axis, which is this one. So the coordinate is always going to be something 0, okay? What is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is when the line touches the y-axis, which is this one. And the coordinate is always going to be 0 something. So for example, if I have this line here and I'm asking you to find the x and the y-intercept, this is where it touches the x-intercept. So then the x-intercept would be -2, because that's where it touched it, 0. And the y-intercept would be where it touches the y-axis, which would be -4, 0, -4. Okay? Because you remember that coordinates are always x, y. So for the x-intercept, you'd have a number in the x place, and for the y-intercept, you'd have a number in the y place. So then if we go here for an example, if I'm asking you to find the intercepts of this line, it's where they touch the axis, so here and here. So this would be the the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept would be 0, 2, and the x-intercept would be -3, 0, and the slope would be, again, it's always rise over run, so that would be 2/3. So that would be the slope, okay? You could use the slope formula as well, and you just take these two numbers, so 0 minus 2 over -3 minus 0. So that would give you -2 over -3, which would also give you a positive 2/3. You can pause there and do these examples, and then when you're ready, you can press play again. So part B of this is being able to interpret and analyze the intercept from a situation. For example, a water tank on a farm near Riverview holds 6,000 liters. So if we're looking at this graph here, we notice that this is volume in liters, so 2,000 liters, 4,000 liters, 6,000 liters, and this is the time in minutes, so 0 minutes, 40 minutes, 80 minutes, 120 minutes. And this is our line that we're going to analyze. So here it's asking for the x-intercept. It only touches the line at 0, 0. And the y-intercept, same, it only touches it at 0, 0. We can't use the points here to find the slope because 0 minus 0 is 0 and 0 minus 0 is 0, and the slope is not 0, okay, or undefined. So here we actually have to use a rise over run. So rise here, let's pick these 2 points here. So we're going to rise and run. So here it looks like we just rose 1, but really we have to look at what's happening between this line and this line. Okay, and each line represents 1,000. Okay, so from here to here, that's 3,000. From 3,000 to 4,000, that's 1,000. So we went 1,000 up, and here it looks like 1, but again, we're looking at the difference between these two lines. And everything is 20. So actually we went 20 minutes because we went from 60 to 80. So this is 20 minutes. So the slope is actually 1,000 on 20. So when it's this situation, you have to be very careful because it's not always going to be just counting, because you have to look at what's happening on the y and the x axis, okay? And you can absolutely reduce this to 50 over 1. Okay. Okay. So then when you're looking at the intercepts and you want to analyze, like, what do these 3 points actually mean? So the x-intercept means that the water started filling up at a time of 0. And the y-intercept means that the volume of the water at the beginning was 0. So it started at 0 liters and it filled up, and it started at time 0 and it went on for 120 minutes. The slope, what does this represent? So again, this is y. So here we're talking about liters, right? So we're talking about 50 liters in minutes. So what does the slope actually mean? it means that the tank fills up at a rate of 1,000 liters every 20 minutes, or if you want to go smaller, 50 liters every 1 minute. Okay, let's do this again for this graph B, and then you guys will be able to practice. So the x-intercept, remember, is where it crosses the x. So here it would be 60, 0. And the y-intercept is where it touches y, which is 0, 6,000. And the slope, again, we're going to look here to here. So it went down 2,000. So between 4 and 2,000 is minus 2,000. And here is 20 minutes. So between this line and this line is 20 minutes. So the slope is minus 2,000 over 20. And if I want to make it smaller, it would be minus 100 over 1. Okay? And remember that this is liters and these are minutes. Always y over x here. So if we are analyzing, and whenever I'm asking you to analyze, you have to write a sentence. So what does the x-intercept, what does that mean? The tank was empty after 60 minutes, right? So the tank was at 0 liters after 60 minutes. And what does the y-intercept represent? Well, it means that the tank contained 6,000 liters at the beginning, or at time 0. And what does the slope mean? These numbers, the tank empties because it's going down, right? It's a negative slope. So the tank empties at a rate of 2,000 liters every 20 minutes, or at 100 liters per minute. So when I'm asking you to analyze, you have to write down what it means. So basically the x-intercept is 60, 0, which means that this is 60 minutes at 0 liters. Here, this was 0, 6,000, which means that at 0 minutes, it's 6,000 liters, okay? So you have to remember that this is always xy, and this is always y over x when you're talking about the slope. Right, so this is where you pause this portion of the video and you do your practice work.